We are live. All right. Welcome everybody to the live stream tonight. It's been a busy couple weeks, so I haven't really had much time to get stuff out. I did film some new videos today at Tangible Investments, and I've got some other cool ones that have been waiting for a few months to just get edited. It's been busy. So hopefully we'll get those all edited up this week and out to you guys. So we should have some new videos coming out. And then I do plan on doing another live stream on Wednesday. This last 2 weeks was crazy. I was doing a lot of stuff for the family and just couldn't get to everything. So today, this is Ask Surfer. So you guys put your questions in. Well, if you put them in the chat, I'm probably not going to see them tonight. I only have one monitor up. If you've got something you're dying for, please do a super chat. That's probably the only way I'm going to see it. I will try to, as we get towards the end of it, we can put up another section here after the polls are done. You can't do them at the same time to ask you guys to put your questions there. But let me get the, I want to gauge on this. All right, gold and silver prices. Are we going? All right, are we going higher? I'll just say higher. Lower. Consolidate. I want to see what you guys are thinking there, okay? All right, so what we're going to do to begin today, we're going to hit a couple things. If we have enough people that come on today that are members, we'll do a member-only stream kind of Q&A after this. We'll roll into that. If not, we'll get another one set up this next week, as well as a phone call. I had to reschedule a few things this week, guys. The other thing I want to throw out, allergies. That's tissue on my shirt. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to throw out to you guys too is new website. I'm going to show that a little bit today. It's a soft launch. I don't have everything quite up there yet, but it should be good for you guys to go check out. And I'd love to get your feedback on it, which would be awesome. I'm getting allergies all of a sudden. My dog, I'm in the same room here. He just got cut today, so bear with me a little bit. But we're going to do a couple things. We're going to go look at X. I want to pull up the news. I haven't even looked at it in the last couple of days. So we're going to look at the news on gold and silver. And then the next thing we're going to do is I want to show you guys a little bit things I'm doing with the channel. And I want to talk to you guys about this particular coin. It was on the thumbnail. And what I'm doing, I'm actually selling silver and I'm buying silver. And I'm doing the same thing with gold too. So I want to let you guys know my strategy, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and how I'm making money from it. Okay. You guys probably didn't know you can make money by buying and you can make money by selling. Probably just thinking you can make money by selling. You can do both. You can reallocate and rebuild and change up your stack. Right now is an awesome time to do that. The other thing I want to make sure we hit today too is what's coming down the line with the channel too. Some of the content that's coming. So you guys are aware of that. And then we'll get to your questions as well. We'll have all that there too. If we get to 100 thumbs up before the stream's over, we'll do some giveaways. So, go and tell all your friends to come and jump over here so we can do some giveaways. We'll be doing gold backs today, Arizona half gold backs. And we'll go from there. So let me just pull up my X real quick so I can, we can go to that screen. Let me just get it ready real quick. Hopefully we'll get things set up here where it'll be much faster. All right, so I'm just putting silver in here, and we're going to see what's in here. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to have someone come and grab the puppy. All right. So I'm going to look at this with you guys. We're going to jump into a couple things. All right. I want to hit a few pieces of news here. I'm reading them for the first time with you guys, so we'll kind of go through it together. Okay, so you guys should be able to see this okay. Actually, let's do it like this so you can still see me here. Okay, so a couple things I want to point out to you guys on here. The fundamentals are still in place. Okay, so we're still printing more money than we know what to do with. Actually, we do. We just spend it. Just kidding. We spend it. But there's a ton of money being printed. We're still having inflation. Okay, the economy is not in great shape. It's pretty shaky. And so, we're losing jobs. I think we just had a jobs report come out of 5 or 600,000 jobs lost. Um, it wasn't as expected. We'll see if we can pull up the non-farm payroll numbers as well. But first thing I want to do is just point out the the premise of everything is still in play, guys. Okay, so this is from Kevin Wadsworth, North Star Bad Charts. I said this pattern would complete and break to the upside. It did. Expect a volatile correction at some point this year, but a percent move is reasonably expected. Okay. So he's still looking for $400 to $500 silver, which is 1,000% gain, which is the same percentage gains we've had roughly at different points within these other bull markets that have come into play. All right. So I do want to point that out. See what else we've got. Yeah, I just got to make sure I've got it on. Yeah. All right. Kevin's just been busy. I'm still all the poster him. All right. So this is another one I just want to point out to you guys. It looks like we've got the GDX gold mining ETF. So let me pull up his note here real quick. Technical analysis is great. It enables us to exit our gold and silver mining traps or trades, sorry, near the top. It's now telling us when we can get back in, and not yet. So I just full disclosure, I have actually sold my mining stocks. I do not have any mining stocks right now. I've sold all of them, 100% of them. Um, and the reason I did that is because I believe prices were going lower once we hit 80. So started selling them around that point. And I still think we could get quite a bit lower. I think we could be seeing $48 silver here pretty soon as a test. Um, and when it does that, you can't rule out lower numbers than that. Okay, we could have other circumstances that happen that drag it down. We could get prices down into the 30s. Okay, that's not uncalled for. If we have a depression or something worse than the depression we had, the Great Depression, really bad recession, we could see prices go a lot lower if people need to sell their silver just to survive. Um, and people are losing jobs and people are spending less money. We definitely could see the demand for silver go down for a period of time. But the fundamentals are the same. There's still a lot of demand for it as of right now. So until that changes, I don't expect prices to go any further than $48. So something would have to change, in my opinion, for that to happen. For that reason, I'm out of the silver miners right now and the gold miners. I know some people are starting to pick them up, but for me, I don't have enough liquidity at the moment to take the risk on the mining stocks at the moment. I want to still be pretty liquid. And in the past, I used to be liquid by 10 or 20 or 30% of my net worth looking for investments. Right now, I'm only at 1% as far as cash goes. So I've been okay owning precious metals that I bought below 30 for silver and below 2000 for gold as a way to save and hold value. So that's my talk. Hopefully you guys can hear that. So there's going to be a time where I do plan on jumping back in. Okay, let's see. We're going to go off that chart here. And then we're going to jump over to gold and then we'll hit platinum for a little bit. So yeah, these are good charts that he's reposting. So this is the 45-year cup and handle on silver, guys. So here's the cup formation. Here's the handle formation. Here's our breakout that we had right here. And we got all the way up to, see if we can zoom in on this a little bit. You guys see it here. We got up to 121 right here. And it's now broken down, okay? So this red line here is not a prophecy. And as far as I know, he doesn't have a crystal ball. So it's not that either. So what he is, though, looking at is trying to give us an indication of a couple things that could happen here. So he does see it going down to, let's see, a level here of about 50, 55, 56 or so, coming back up into the 70 range, 72, 73, coming back down, and then taking off, kind of some consolidation, maybe a little bit of a breakdown, and then it takes off even higher. And if you look down here at the years, this is now until 2031. He's looking at. Okay, so this red box here shows where that time frame can happen and where that price can happen. So you could have it happen in 2027. It could go all the way to 2034. It could be up as high as 600. It could be as low as maybe $300. That's just his idea, his thoughts of where it's going to go. These are Fibonacci numbers here that use mathematics to basically pick the different levels that we would hit. Okay, and we'll get to your guys' questions here in a minute too. Get out of there. Patrick is Kevin's partner in crime too. So you can see the breakout here. He's also calling for higher prices, guys, but we could have more breakdown before we have it take off again. So let me pause X here for a second. Let me come back onto the screen bigger. And let me just see if you guys have any questions on here real quick. Let's see. There's not a lot in the comments here. I don't see any questions yet. Maybe you guys are holding off. Okay, let's see. I don't know what you mean by all that, but no, I don't think it's going to be over anytime soon, as I've said for a long time. Price of gold and silver has nothing to do with what's going on in Iran. There's some effect to it, but whether it's undervalued or overvalued has nothing to do with that. That's more just armchair knee-jerk reactions and things like that. So on this question here, and looking at the charts, we could be at the principle of a larger dip, like instead of it being a cup, it's a bull. So typically what will happen, guys, is if we go below 50, which was around the number there, give or take $1 or $2 of the 45-year cup and handle. If we go below that and we close on a weekly below that number, and then we close on a monthly below that, you now have a very, very firm ceiling, okay, or resistance level at $50. That basically means that in technical terms, I'm not a chart trading guy that does that for a living or anything. But so I'd have to defer to them a little bit, but I believe that means we would have to have another handle form. So in essence, you want a little handle to form on top of off the other little handle, and then it creates a bunch of momentum and it really explodes up. If what you're saying could potentially happen, if we go all the way back down into like the 20s, then that 45-year cup and handle may not be real. It might actually, I mean, it was slightly real, but it'll dissipate. It could turn into a much bigger cup and handle. That we probably don't want if you guys are hoping to have your silver go higher in the next 10 or 20 years, okay? I don't really see that situation happening for a couple reasons. One, we've got all these data centers going in. We've got all the movement towards EVs, towards solar panels, towards robots. And in order for all of those things to happen and to be funded, we've got to have a robust economy. We cannot be in a depression. So I lean towards the philosophy that we're not going to be going into a massive depression that's going to last for many years like we had in 1929. I think we're going to go into is more hyperinflation. Now, with that said, I do think we can go into a deflationary crash, which means everything goes way down in value for a period of time. And the key there is you've got to have staying power. Okay, so if you've gone 100% into precious metals, well, you're probably going to have to end up selling some of those just to survive. Um, Hopefully, you can outlast that. Hopefully, you've got enough metals for it. If you have a ton of cash, well, you might be in a little bit better shape if we get into a deflationary crash. However, how long are they going to allow cash to stay around, or are they going to institute the stable coin, suck up your cash? And once they get you on the stable coin, they're less likely to let you save and try to buy things like metals with it. They're probably going to force you into spending it to try to boost the economy. So there's things like that you got to kind of watch out for. Real estate, hopefully you've got enough income coming in off the real estate, or you have ways of making your payments to keep it. Things like that can be kind of crazy. It's about staying power. I think that's one of the things we'll try to hit maybe on the live stream this Wednesday. I'll see if I can get a guest to come in and talk about that too. But right now, I think more likely what's to happen is we have prices get low. It looks really ugly, and they institute a bunch of stimulus payments to really bolster the economy and to really push it forward, which means we're going to go into hyperinflation. When that happens, you're going to want to have a bunch of gold and silver because those are going to also hyperinflate along with the currency going out of control. So yeah, that could happen. I don't want that to happen, though. That would be not a good scenario for the metals. So this is our real problem. We have to borrow $2 trillion just to pay our interest payment. Okay. So, I mean, this would be akin to basically owing, what do we bring in? I think we bring in 4 trillion or so in tax receipts, and then we're spending like 6 trillion roughly, maybe add a trillion to each of those. So let's say you brought in $400,000 a year in income, but you had to pay $200,000 a year in interest to just support your lifestyle. You're going to go bankrupt very quickly. You still have to pay taxes. You still have to do a lot of other stuff. You're not going to be able to write off that interest, so you're going to be out of luck pretty fast. So don't be the U.S. government. I don't know. I think this is insiders in foreign countries colluding to destroy this country about 100 years ago. Like, that's how we got the Fed. Go read The Creature from Jekyll Island if you guys haven't done that yet. Do hit the subscribe if you're enjoying the video, the content, the channel. That gets more people to be aware of this. It helps the channel. I've lost 50 subscribers in 2 weeks because I had other family things and I couldn't put videos out. And YouTube likes to punish you for the heck of it. So go figure. I don't know why they do that stuff. If you guys are new, hit the subscribe and the bell icon. Leave a comment down here on the side, and give a thumbs up. That kind of locks you in. YouTube looks at it and says, "Okay, maybe you like this channel. We'll make sure we keep you in there." A lot of you guys are probably getting kicked off, and you don't know it, so double check too. So we can hit this a little bit more on Tuesday. I've got Andy Sheckman coming back on. I think we might try to do that as a live stream as well. So this would be a perfect one to really hit with him. I don't know too much about a gold token. I'd have to go look that up. Maybe we can look that up in a second here. But I do know that Tether's been buying a lot of gold. I do know they have one of the 2 big stable coins that are out there. Something's going on. Andy's been talking a lot about it. In general, stable coins are actually worse than CBDCs. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. They're a lot worse than CBDCs. And that's what happens sometimes when you find out about something and the whole world starts getting mad about it. They rebrand it and then they make it even worse. So, it's just like these cameras that are being put up in everybody's neighborhood to spy on you. My neighbor got a fine for not registering their car in California because they used it in Wyoming. and these cameras are tracking to see that how often you drive in the neighborhoods. They see that he clearly lives here. Um, and then you've got a lot of other weird stuff that's going on. So we're definitely starting to live into a surveillance state, whether you guys like it or not. The other issue we're running into is, control and surveillance of our money. So that's going to come down the road unless we just decide that we're not willing to take our paycheck in that, and maybe we're even willing to lose our job over it. If we don't have enough people to stand up to fight against that to get that to go away, we're probably going to be stuck with state loans this case. Put your gold and silver away in a safe over here. Be glad you have it. It might become super hard to acquire it down the road. So be careful with playing markets up and down too much with the physical stuff. The word to the wise. As always, none of this is financial advice. We're just having fun talking about surfing the big gold and silver tsunami waves. And just to keep in mind, guys, waves go up, you surf them, and they go down. Okay. And we're going to have the biggest tsunamis ahead of us still. We just had a pretty good size one. I think we're going to have bigger ones ahead of us for gold and silver prices. So what I would also say is be careful and start thinking about putting a plan in place on when you're going to sell metals, how much you would sell, and how much you're going to keep for the long run. I think all of us, going back right here, cult leader mentions, I think all of us, if we could have a crystal ball, go back to middle of January, maybe even the end of January, and sell silver at 110 or even $100 right now, you'd be pretty happy with that, even if you had a tax burden for it. Okay. You could rebuy it now. Now, I would never recommend selling the stuff that you love that has been hard to accumulate. That might be hard to do. So things like your Silver Eagle collection or your Morgan Dollar collection, those things I would hold on to even in that time. But you may have a bunch of generic bullion, constitutional silver that is, not rare dates that you might be able to unload here and there. Right now is not a good time to do that. I guess at that time it wasn't really there, so scrap that part. But let's say at bars and rounds, you could definitely do that and rebuy. The problem is we don't know how low it's going to go, and you can also miss the downswing. Okay, so if you're going to be selling and you're going to be rebuying, you've got to pay attention to things like on a daily basis, looking at the spot price, watching channels like this channel and other channels that talk about it. You got to follow it really closely, because if you don't, you're going to run the risk of selling too late and buying too late. And so what does that look like? Well, instead of selling at 110, 120, you sell it at 60. It goes down to, say, 48. And then we have some news that comes out. It jumps immediately up to 80. And, well, guess what? It never goes back down to 60 ever again. And now you're stuck buying at $80 to $90. That's how you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. On the flip side, if you take a small percentage, like 10% of your total stack, and you sell some of it at 110, 120, for example, you need to start selling it probably about 100 to 110 in our last scenario. Otherwise, you would probably sell too late. And then you've got to rebuy back when you know there's a price that you feel comfortable about, which might be 60. So maybe you're rebuying back right now. You don't try to time the top. You don't try to time the bottom. You get in the middle. It's not your entire stack, but you're able to grow it a little faster. It's the same thing with playing the GSR. Very few people take their entire stack and just move it back and forth and do that. If you could, that would be great. It depends on how big your stack is. If you're talking a few $1,000s or if you're talking a few $1 million, big difference in the amount of weight and hassle to do all that. All right. Yeah, look, I think China is just going to continue to start moving the world more and more towards gold. And I think the United States and the West are going to keep trying to move people towards crypto. We probably don't have the gold that we say we do, and we probably don't have a good way of acquiring more of it. And so crypto is something we can kind of control. Maybe we created it. Maybe the CIA did that for Bitcoin. It looks pretty suspicious and sus, as my kids would say. So yeah, that could be happening, but China's going to do that on the 24th. I definitely, I don't think it's going to be drastic, and I don't think it's going to change everything on the 24th. When you hear these dates, you get overexcited about stuff and you think, hey, I've got to hurry and do something by that date. That's called FOMO, fear of missing out. You should already have your position decided on what you're going to do and start executing on that strategy. With something like this, it's just another, piece of evidence. Okay. I saw another comment in here too that talked about the 14th. We've got the new Liberty coins coming out that are priced crazy, astronomically high. I did get accused on a live stream the other day of I would be someone that would go buy one of those. I'm not buying one of those. It's a lot of money to pay for that. I would much rather take $20,000 and go buy a fairly rare pre-30th coin if I'm going to go spend that much money on a single coin, which I have never done yet. So, I wouldn't buy it on a modern coin, even though it's a low mintage. And yeah, maybe you can flip it and make twice as much possibly off of it. It's risky and it's a coolish coin, but I don't think it's the coolest coin I've seen. They screwed up by also making the plastic case circular instead of forming to the shape. I think that was a mistake. But I believe those are coming out on the 14th. I think that's what you're maybe talking about. Some people are thinking it's going to revalue to 20,000. I don't know. If it does, you better have gold, right? If it doesn't, we could be going lower too. Now we also have a bunch of the options traders that have been putting in, I think, around 5 million. Maybe it's not that much. That's the number it's in my head, but millions of dollars worth of options for $20,000 gold by the end of the year. So someone is either planning on a big spike happening and they dump those on the market to make some money quickly, or they are expecting that it's going to happen, or they've lost their mind and they're just putting money in bad places. So could we have $20,000 gold this year? It's possible. I wouldn't rule it out, but it's not very probable. So I wouldn't make a bet on it either. Gold Maple wants to buy more. So we will get to that towards the end of this here. I'm going to talk to you guys about this coin I just picked up today and why I bought it. I'm going to show you what it is. Here's a coin. It's a cool coin. It's a Liberty. And very proof-like, very high relief. And I paid a little bit over spot for this. And then had some taxes. I live in California, and it was under $2,000. But I bought this, and then you see the other coin that was on there, the Death Star. I sold that, and someone else sold one for more than I did on eBay. But mine had been sitting there for 6 months. I got an okay offer. It was not what I wanted, but it was a 400% return. So 500% return is better than 400, but you get a 400% return on a coin. And take that funding and go buy more ounces with it. I will do that all day long. It's fun to have some of these collectible coins, but at the same time, it's going to come down to weight in a lot of ways. And at some point, it's going to come down to weight of collectibles, in my opinion. That'll be something we'll cover off with Lynette Zing a little bit coming up here soon. We were going to have her on. I had to cancel that, which is a big bummer. Hopefully she'll still talk to me. All right, but yes, I do want prices to go down right now, guys, because I don't need to use it. With that said, though, you can make money when prices are falling. Okay, and if you understand how to do that, that's just another way to do the investing. If you guys haven't done so, hit that thumbs up, that like. Let's get it to 100. We'll do some giveaways today. We'll do some gold backs. We're at 49, okay? So we're only going to do this for an hour. And then if we've got enough members in here, we'll do a roll call at the end. We'll turn this into a member-only stream as well. And then we should be doing our call next week. Something's wrong with the calendar. It keeps showing up as a meeting and then disappears on me. And then it comes back. I don't know what's going on, so I've got to redo that whole calendar invite. If you guys aren't familiar with that, if you go down below and you see the button join, that allows you to join the membership. It's a few bucks a month. We do monthly calls. We also do member-only live streams. There'll be some content that will come out early to members. It's a way to help support the channel. And then we're going to go over the website here in just a minute. But I do want to show you a little bit more on X. So let me see if there's anything else I wanted to hit on here. Okay, this is kind of funny. We'll hit a few of these things. Oh, let me add it back to stage. Okay, let's do this one. It's a little better. Okay, so this is kind of funny and really sad at the same time. Currency wars. Are we winning? Okay, we've got the U.S. throwing a bunch of gold bars over at China, while China throws U.S. dollars back over at the United States. Now, guys, this is what it means to be the world reserve currency. You basically export your dollars or your currency instead of goods and services. Well, I guess services to a degree still, but your goods stop. And you're able to buy cheap goods. So we've been flooding China with all these dollars for many, many years, and they've been giving us cheap products. And now they're stuck with all these dollars, and so they're going to send them over there. And we're so dumb, we're letting them buy all of our gold and silver. So I think that's nuts. I think it's crazy, but that is the reality of things right now. So don't be the person that's stacking the dollars too heavily. Now, I will say right now is probably a good time to have dry powder and to accumulate a little bit more of that dry powder. But that doesn't necessarily mean go and dump your stack right now. I think a lot of people are selling a lot of silver right now. And yes, it could go down to 48. Yes, it could go down maybe even into the 30s. Okay. I don't think it's going to be there super long. And if it does stay down there for a while, I would be surprised. I really think they're going to print their way out of this mess. We're kind of at the end of the dollar, and there's going to be some resets of some degree that have to happen. The timing's what's a little bit tricky on this. So pay your debts off, get yourself into a position where you have cash, okay, to cover 3 months worth of expenses, and then have your metals in a very secure place, okay? And make sure that you don't do this in a way that sacrifices your cash flow to the point where you're going to have to sell metals in a few months if they don't go up. Okay, that's also not a great way to do it. That can get you into some tricky stuff too. So this is a silver 8-hour log chart. Basically, you can see silver going down. You see it going up first, and then you can see it really dropping down. So I was looking to sell some silver up here, a substantial amount. I couldn't make it out of work to go down to my melter in Los Angeles. And the next day, it had pretty much dropped down here. I mean, not all in one day, but you know, it took some substantial drops. And then I just thought, okay, I better wait and see what happens. It just kept dropping. And when I got up here, I was just too busy out of town again with other conferences. It just didn't work out to really do it. And I've kind of just decided, okay, maybe I'm not going to worry too much about it. And I'll just hold it for the most part. So what I'm doing now is selling small incremental amounts, and I'm buying small incremental amounts, not doing anything too drastic, but I'm selling some of my high premium stuff where I can make, you know, large percents of gains on it and pick up more ounces at the same time. But you can see this here, this expanding wedge, and it looks like we're breaking down a little bit, but it did come up and test this again at 60. That isn't really showing on here, but we did go back up and test 60 right here at the close of the day. So it actually kind of broke above this. So let's see if this wedge is going to play out. An ascending wedge like this, or an expanding wedge, is usually bearish and pushes it down into this range. So this is where they're saying 55 to 57. That could happen. So, you know, the only advice I can give to you guys, because I can't give you financial advice, is if you're in a position where you bought too much silver, okay, and you bought it really high, talk to your accountant. You might be able to sell some of it and take a loss. Use that money to buy it a little bit lower. Okay, you can do things like that. There's strategies there. The other thing you can do is you can just wait, because you don't lose anything if you don't sell. Okay. If we go lower here, we want it to hold at 50. If it breaks below 50, we'll have other conversations and bring a lot more experts on here to really hit that, to not only get their opinion, but to grill them a little bit on some of those questions. So I am hoping to get a lot more folks back on for interviews as well. It's we're just having to deal with some family stuff that's taking up time. All right, let's see what else we got on here. I've seen this guy, this actual post a few times with a bunch of silver. And one thing I'm going to tell you guys is I do not recommend putting your face on a camera and then having a lot of silver on there with it. That's not advisable. I don't care if you're in the middle of the ocean. Now, this guy may be having a boat accident in a few minutes. Okay, maybe that's the whole plan. Don't know. We're not going to listen to it. But there you go. That's the classic. I lost it in a boating accident. At least I think that's a boat. Maybe it's an RV at the beach. I can't tell. Maybe it's an RV. To me, it looked like it was a boat, but whatever. Okay, let's see what else we got. It looks like a lot of the same stuff. People are going back and forth on silver, where it's going to go. Oh my goodness, Eric, come on. All right, so this is something that North Star Bad Charts had in here too. You know, we did have them on right around here, and you know, they were talking about silver going lower, so they have given us some indicators that, you know, silver was going to go quite a bit lower. And if you're trying to maximize selling and buying, you've got taxes, you've got the premiums that you have to pay. You then have the discounts that you're going to get when you sell. It's not always worth making too many of those transactions back and forth unless you've got a way to sell retail and you've got a way to buy wholesale. Okay, that makes it a lot easier. Otherwise, you've got to time it perfectly. You've got to be selling at like 100 and buying at 60. Well, we don't know how far this line is going to go down, and we don't know when it's going to break back up to the top. So those are the things you've got to be careful with, because you can just continue to burn yourself left and right. Okay.
My father, Dan, he's able.
Let's see what we got here on this post. A guy walks into Greenville, gold and silver. Let's see. Like he's smuggling a bar. It's a 1,000-ounce bar. Those things are heavy, guys. He just put a Comex bar down on the. He wants to sell it. Just walking through the store with it. I don't recommend buying 1,000-ounce bars. They're really heavy. That guy's going to have to go to the chiropractor now. And in addition to that, it's extremely difficult to sell them. You're going to be selling them to a coin shop. And right now, with the way silver is being sold, you're probably going to be selling at $10 to $15 per ounce below spot price. Okay. And look at these guys having to test it in the water and everything. You know, you could drill holes in it all day long. I just don't advise you guys doing that. Now, if you're looking to do things like Dave Bateman, and you're going to buy $800 million of silver, and you want to get it from the COMEX and basically prove a few points, right, and have it sent back. You know, you can do that, but if you're that guy, you're not taking it to your house. It's going from your house onto pallets into another private vault somewhere. You're going to have a military guarding it for you. Okay. So in that case, they want those bars because they plan on putting them back into, back to COMEX and getting cash for it at some point, maybe even trading it into gold. If you've got millions and millions of dollars and you can buy, you know, dozens of those bars, fine. Otherwise, yeah, I wouldn't even come close to doing that. 100-ounce bars are as big as I would go, and those are even pretty big. I'm looking to get rid of my 100-ounce bars here pretty soon. Not to sell them, but to flip them into some other product that's more fractional, to put on the website. So I'm looking at that. All right, we got 81 in here. Lots of new comments in here. So I will come over in just one more second. Let me see if there was anything else in here we want to hit. Oh my gosh, Asian guy videos. That dude's just taken over. He's not even just doing coins anymore. The crap is that? Okay. Also, this is really cool. It's silver plated shell and it's old. Be careful with stuff like that. That you're not going to get much value for when you go to sell it. Okay, that you can watch on your own. Paper silver dumps. I think you know where that's going. Okay, that's enough on silver. Let me see if anything else comes up on gold. Okay, so we've got gold. Gold is less volatile, guys. It really doesn't. It hasn't gone down nearly as much as silver has. So Kevin's still looking at it here. He thinks we're probably going to come down to this line here, which this is versus the SPX. So basically the stock market. He thinks it's going to come up here. It's not a great chart to show you guys to help you know what to do next, though. I don't know if what does fluoride have to do with gold? Don't know. July 7th, first gold settlement in Hong Kong history. 6 major banks signed on: JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, DBS, ICBC, OCBC, UOB. Asia handles 70% of the gold demand. Now it has the infrastructure to match. So, the real game here, except that those are chocolate coins from Pricey's Candy. That's actually kind of funny. I did that on one of my first videos. If you guys go back on one of my first shorts, I had a bunch of See's Candy chocolate coins. Anyway, if you look at this, this is what could really start to change things. Okay, it's not so much that what China's doing on the 24th, it's what's happening with China starting to become a big world player and maybe even taking over the world pricing of gold and silver. They'll be the money makers there. Okay. Let's hope this happens everywhere in the country. We need to get rid of property taxes. It's a really stupid tax. If you buy your house, pay it off, you should be able to keep it no matter what. So a lot of people are calling for the end of consolidation on gold here. I'm seeing that from a few people. It's about to take off, and it might. Maybe we'll see gold start to move a lot faster than silver. Technically speaking, I was surprised to see silver go above $80 when it did. I didn't expect that to happen for another year or two, and it started, moving up that way. Now we had predictions for the channel that we talked about, but those still came a lot faster than I initially thought they would when I started the channel 3.5 years ago. So last thing I'll show you guys on here, and we'll go back to your questions. So here's the massive gold bull era. Okay, see things go up and they come down, right? Go up, come down, go up, come down, go up, come down. They eventually hit a peak and they do correct down. Now, a difference here in this market is they didn't print, basically $20 trillion. All right. And then you had a consolidation at the bottom here, and it broke out again. You got another cup and handle here, and it's broken out. So we're still just in early stages of seeing this break out against the S&P 500, by the way. So the reason this is important is this really helps you guys understand the difference between being in the stock market versus being in gold. And so what he's showing you here is we could see a little bit downside to where it's better to be in the S&P 500 for a little bit of time. And then he expects it to kind of be jagged, but to start to get back up here to this point. And when it comes back down, that's the time you want to start buying into the S&P 500, maybe even selling some of your gold for it. But the caveat will be, are you selling it into dollars or into stable coins? If you're selling it into stable coins, can you then take those stable coins or the earnings from your stock market purchases and wins and turn it back into gold? If not, then you may not want to do that. But this is important for those of you that have a lot of money in the stock market. All right, we're done with that for right now. Let's go back to the Q&A over here for you guys. Actually, what I want to hit real quick is the survey. So let's hit that first and the poll. All right, so gold and silver prices are going. 42% of you believe they're going higher. And I didn't give you a time frame on purpose. 34% believe they're going lower. 24% believe that it's consolidating. All right. So that's good to know there. So most of you guys do believe, we're about to turn around. So the real question I'd have you guys ask yourselves is this. If you believe it's going to turn around, are you buying right now? And what happens if it dips more? Okay. Take that into consideration. All right, let's see what questions you guys have for me real quick. Or statements. Gold Maple has 24 karat gold. And 22 and 24 karat gold is what he's selling, or what's selling. Only buy gold bullion coins and bars, nothing else. You're wasting your time if you buy gold jewelry or anything less than 22 karat gold. So yeah, I would agree that look, I lost my wedding ring I usually wear. It's my 6th wedding ring I've lost surfing now. I've messed up my shoulder really badly, so I'm going to have to take it easy for a while. I hope I don't have to get surgery on it. This is another ring I got a couple of years ago. It's kind of a cool ring. But I don't wear gold or silver rings anymore because I lose them in the ocean. So they're done. I'm not doing that. However, if you guys don't surf, or you don't surf in a place where it's cold and your rings are going to fall off, and I do try to remember to take them off as much as I can. This one fell out of my wetsuit that I had a little pocket in, so I guess we're not doing that anymore. Jewelry. Jewelry is a good way to hold some wealth on you when you're out and about. So let's say you're going to travel from Los Angeles, California to Boston, okay? And let's say during that time, there's another 9/11 that happens. And, planes are grounded for a month. And let's say it's a cyber attack instead, and it happens to be on the banking system. So your debit cards and credit cards don't work. What are you going to do? Okay, maybe it lasts a month. I don't know. I don't know if there's any way to prepare for that. You're probably not going to take a bunch of gold and silver with you. But if you did have some gold or silver jewelry, that can buy you some time, potentially. If you've got cash on you, that could buy you some time. If you had gold and silver coins or bars with you, or rounds, maybe that'd buy you a little bit of time. But if you have nothing, for sure, your credit card's not going to do anything for you if you can't access it. Let's say it's less extreme. It's just 4 or 5 days. Okay. You could still get yourself in a pretty sticky situation where if you're traveling for work, maybe your company is able to take care of you. Everything's good. If you're traveling there for another reason and you just don't have the ability to have any money, you're going to have some other issues. So I do think having some jewelry is valuable, but I don't think you should be stacking jewelry, not very heavily. So if you love it, you want to wear it, go for it. I would try to get the stuff that's more pure. I would try to get, the ones that are not plastic filled and just, gold on the outside. That's a waste. You want real solid, jewelry. More importantly, it's the 24 karat gold is really what you want the most of when you're talking to bullion. Frankly, if you're going to go below 24 karat gold, then you might as well go into inexpensive pre-33 gold coins, in my opinion. But that's just me. I do have eagles though. And, when I get a chance, I will try to convert those into buffaloes because I'd rather have the pure gold. 24 karat, 22 karat is technically an alloy. We still call them gold coins though, because they're pretty pure. Now the caveat to that is if you've got a way of melting down the jewelry and you can turn it into refined gold, 22 karat or 24 karat gold, and that's pretty cool. They've never confiscated jewelry. If we have another big, huge revaluation that goes significantly above, let's say, at least 20 or 30% above the current spot price, historically, we confiscate gold first. So, you got to watch out for that. Be careful. There are some things that may get you past that, like pre-33 gold. Some people would argue that. A lot of people think it's not going to happen. If you don't think it's going to happen, don't worry about it. If you think there's a chance of it happening, then, prepare a bit for it. But jewelry is at least something that they never confiscated. They didn't confiscate collectibles either. How do you define collectibles? Now there's a $1 million question. All right, let's see what else you guys have in here. Okay, so let's talk about this coin. So I picked this up at Tangible today, and I got a good deal on it, partially because I'm doing some videos with them, but also because I think the coin's been sitting there for a little bit. But here's the coin, and I love the Indian head. This is the same design on the $10 Indian head gold pre-33 coin. And then on the back of it, it has the St. Gaudens eagle, which is pretty cool too. So it's a 1 ounce proof high relief coin, ultra cameo. And I picked this up for just a few dollars over spot price. Okay. So if you've got relationships, if you've got ways of picking up a coin like that for a few dollars above spot price, that's amazing. That's great. If you're going to be buying that coin for hundreds of dollars above spot price, now's not a good time to be doing that. So really, if you're going to be selling anything right now, in my opinion, it's going to be the high premium stuff. Okay. So what I've sold recently is I sold two 20-ounce Scottsdale Mint Kit Kat bars. And I sold basically a 10-ounce solid silver Death Star from Star Wars. All three of those, I made money on them from what I paid originally. The Death Star was like a 400% return. The Kit Kats, I think I pretty much broke even on those. And I'm going to be turning that into other product to sell on the new website. Okay. Now, would I recommend you guys sell a bunch of stuff right now? Only if you're looking to replace it with other inventory. And in my opinion, I think it's still the best place to be in is in the precious metals. But, I think it's okay to hold some cash for a while. But you got to watch it. If we start seeing silver going back up, 65, $66, we could see it really start to go up again. If you sold a bunch of silver down here, you're going to regret that. At the same time, if you're really tight on funds and you don't sell any right now, and we go down into the 40s, then you're also going to regret that too. So this really becomes more of an allocation issue and a percentage of ownership of net worth in what you have in metals and cash and emergency funds and all of that. Those are the things that are good to go over with the financial planner. If you can find a good one, let me know, because I haven't really found a good one that does that. But those are the things that we try to cover on one-to-one sessions for memberships. It's not me telling you guys what to do. It's me talking through it with you, giving my recommendations, and then helping you guys kind of come to a conclusion of what works best, and then bringing your advisors into it. Let's see what else you guys have. So I would also say don't panic. We're not in a panic mode. In my opinion, the panic mode is going to be people that don't have gold and silver. And I think they're going to be the ones that are panicking to buy it. And I believe there's going to be a time where they may not be able to buy it anymore, where the prices will be so high they're not getting very much of it. So, kind of equate it to like Bitcoin. Very few people knew about Bitcoin when it was $1 a coin. And then it kept rising. By the time it got up to maybe $3,000 to $6,000, that's when people started finding out about it. And some people bought it, a lot of people didn't. Once it got into the $50,000, $60,000 range, that's where a lot more people found out about it, and a lot more people started buying it, driving the price up to 120,000. That was the wrong time to be buying it. And now it's back down to like 63, 64 or so. So, I think there's going to be a time where you're going to see gold really go explosive. Same with silver. And I think there's going to be a time where it's harder to get onto it. So I definitely would not panic sell. If you're feeling that you've got to hurry and sell because you're going to have problems, that's FOMO. It's the same thing that comes in if you think you've got to hurry and buy because you're going to miss out. You got to let that feeling go away. You've got to talk to some people, figure out what you have, what you want to sell, what you want to buy. And you've got to be more rational about it before you make that decision. Okay, sleep on it. Don't do anything too crazy. Boating accidents do suck. You've got to go back in later and try to find it. So, all right, let's see what else you guys have in here. Yeah, so gold eagles will be 22 karat, buffaloes are 24. An interesting thing I'll tell you guys too is when I talk to the people I know from India, and I work with a lot of people from India being in high tech, They don't have collectible coins. Okay, that's not something they do. They don't even really have collectible jewelry. When they get married and at different festivals they have throughout the year, they use a lot of gold jewelry and they use a lot of silver jewelry. Silver jewelry is used for ceremonies that are more about cleansing, and gold has to do more with like royalty stuff. So they culturally do not use grandma's jewelry or mom's jewelry. They have brand new jewelry made for themselves, okay, for the females. And they will take the old jewelry and melt it down and make new jewelry out of it. It is a way they keep their economy going. It's the way that keeps gold and silver going. You should be very happy that they do that, because that keeps the need for all this stuff going back and forth. And they happen to be one of the largest growing populations on the planet. So that's also just more bullish for gold and silver in general. But here's the interesting thing. I showed them some of these St. Gaudens coins on AppNext that were going for $100,000 for an ounce of gold. She couldn't understand that. It would be like, deciding that you wanted to go pay $2,000 for a hamburger because you're getting it at this special limited edition store in Hollywood, California. Okay. That's how she saw it. And it's just, it is a reality check. Okay. So yes, there's collectible markets where you can have $1 million coin and maybe someone will pay a few million and not $2 million for it down the road. There's no guarantee. I do think as long as there's a market and we have a Western civilization, I think collectibles will have a place. As long as people have money, I think they'll continue to have collectibles. But I do think it's important to remember that at the end of the day, you're buying the commodity. Okay. So you've got to think through what percentage of your stack is based on just the weight versus on the collectibles. And then you can have some arguments back and forth on a reset and things like that. We can have those conversations all the time. Yeah, so supply is getting tight. You guys, this is how this whole thing goes. Okay, look, there is plenty of silver to do everything we want to do out there. It's just that it's off market. Okay, all the silver that I have in my vaults is not for sale. You can't have it. And as long as there's a lot of people holding it back, it will cause supply constraints right now because they cannot get enough of it out of the ground. Okay. So economically, the only other way to keep price of silver at a good price for industry is to have the industry slow down and fewer people buying it. Okay. Or they've got to entice us to get our silver out of our vaults and our safes and start putting it on the open market. Now retail's a portion of that. I don't know what portion we're at compared to, other big players that may be holding silver, like Indian government stuff. But for the most part, yes, there's plenty of supply to go around, but we do get into crunches. And when we get into crunches, that's when you see the prices spike up. Okay. Now, if we go into a Great Depression, the demand for silver is going to drop out big time, and we probably won't have a deficit anymore for mining. However, if there's not enough money to be made in mining, they will stop mining it. And even if it's a byproduct of copper mining, they might stop the copper mining because it's not profitable, or they may just let the silver slag lay on the ground and they don't even refine it because it's not worth it yet. All these dynamics and economics will make a difference in what happens with it. But to go out and say, hey, we're about to have a big silver squeeze, it's fun to talk about. We can have fun with it. I don't ever bet on those things. They don't pan out. I think they've panned out once for a few people, and that's about it. Yeah, so this is the same thing we're talking about. It's the same thing with cryptocurrencies. It's one of the reasons I think Bitcoin is very dangerous to be involved in. And that is because you don't do anything with it. Okay. It doesn't get consumed like silver does. It doesn't just get stored. It's more like gold. It just gets stored in a vault. Yes, it does get lost though. So that is one thing that's going for Bitcoin is you can lose it. But no one knows who owns Satoshi Nakamoto's, stash, their stack, if it's a person or multiple people or the CIA or whatever. But when you look at Bitcoin, it's the same thing. A lot of people have it on hardware wallets that are offline, and so the keys aren't available, so you can't buy it. But when those people go to flood the market, that's how you get prices that go down. So as long as people are keeping silver off the market, prices will be relatively stable and high. But if everybody that owns silver at the same time decides I don't want it, and they all turn it in at the same time, then it's essentially not worthless. But you wouldn't get a whole lot for it, right? And if you combine that with a big recession or something, then yeah, maybe it's worthless. I don't see that scenario happening though. I think the odds of that is like less than 0.1%. You know, where we see this problem here would be short-lived, where people dump because they're just trying to get out of it to feed their family. So get yourself a year supply of food. Okay, let me put it this way. If you've got 5,000 ounces of silver and you don't have a year supply of food, you're not as smart as I thought you were. Okay. You don't eat silver, you eat food. Okay. So if you had 5,000, 10,000 ounces of silver, which is very significant, and you have no year supply of food, you don't have a year supply of cash on hand for your expenses, I think you're all out of whack. That's not the right way to do it. I'd get that your supply first. Now, if you only have 100 ounces of silver and you don't have any of that stuff either, well, 100 ounces is good. It's probably where you ought to stop, and maybe all the rest of your money you're starting to buy food storage up. Ammunition, guns, things like that, tents, sleeping bags, whatever. You got to be smart about what could potentially be coming down the line with issues if you're wanting to prepare for that. If you're just an investor and you're just wanting to trade the metals and you're wanting to understand, are they going up or down? Tell me right now, because I'm trying to make money off of it. If that's the case, then you really just need to watch channels that are doing charts all the time, and you're a trader. You're not really an investor. You're just going to play the market. You're going to make your money, do your thing. But if you're really looking at society falling apart to where you're going to use your gold and silver someday, or that gold and silver is going to become the money, it's going to become super valuable and rare, you've got to prepare for the other things that come along with it, which is going to be famines. It's going to be high prices of food. It's going to be high inflation. Maybe you're going to lose your job to AI. You got to prepare for these different things, okay? And we do the best we can. And then the rest of it's up to God, because, we can only do so much. All right. Yeah, 62 pounds. That was way too heavy to be carrying that bar. All right, I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. Yeah, I saw gold maple for a second here. I don't think the Chinese are selling their gold. I don't think that's the plan here. I think they know that we're going to have to reset everything here, and they want to have as much gold as they possibly can. And they're also a communist country, so they've got all the gold held by their people. They could confiscate that, so they could end up having a significantly larger amount of gold than what we think we have. I don't have any surfing videos, but my first video was surfing, and it's at the bottom of the ocean on the GoPro camera. If I can get my shoulder fixed and feeling better, which it shouldn't be that messed up, it was just from paddling, but I have a lot of health issues. If I can get this fixed better, one of the things I do want to do is I can't do a live stream on the board, which would be killer to do. There's just no cell signal out at the beaches here. But what I would love to do is get a couple GoPro cameras mounted on my head and also down on my surfboard. And it would be fun to go surfing. Now, I'm an older dude. I mean, I might be younger than you guys, some of you guys, but I'm an older dude. I've got health issues. I'm surfing, anywhere from 3 to maybe 5 foot waves. And I go out on my 9.5 foot longboard and have a lot of fun with it. So as far as ripping it up and shredding, larger waves and riding the curls right now, I'm not in a position where I can do that. The current's going to totally kick my butt. So you got to know your limitations. But no, I don't have a lot of surfing videos. I picked up surfing 7 years ago. It's been a blast. It's one of my favorite activities to do. I try to get out a dozen or 2 times a year. I'm working this plus my job and family. I just don't get a lot of time out. I'm lucky if I can get 5 hours of sleep, maybe 6 hours of sleep a day. So that's probably contributing to health issues, but I'm hoping to change that in the near future, where we're doing this full time. I'm having more time to go skiing again and to get out and do more surfing. But yeah, I would love to get some surfing videos talking finance and stacking would be pretty fun. So I should probably be more of the surfing stacker because I stack more than I surf. But there's twofold for the name Surfer, maybe three. One, it's a cool name in California. I picked it when I did not want to see my name up on auctions for buying coins from Silver Dragons and Empire Precious Metals. Two, I do love surfing. Three, I think it's a perfect thing when you see these big spikes up and down. They're waves, basically, that's happening, and you've got the Elliott wave theory and everything else. So it's kind of the whole play off of the waves and off the surfing. What I'm trying to do is focus less on the surfing element of the name and a little bit more on the stacking side of it, because it's not about really the surfer. Okay, it's about the wave, to be honest. So, the analogy with surfing is you've got to know what kind of board you're on. You've got to know what kind of wave you're riding. You've got to know the conditions of it. You got to know yourself and get yourself set up for it. So that's a lot of what this channel is trying to do, is it's trying to help you get the right board to surf those waves, to know when to start to ride that wave. A lot of waves, when you guys are surfing, a lot of waves will pass you by if you're not in the right place to catch it, and if you don't understand how to do that. You've also got to have, strength in the right places. Okay. So right now, we're not crypto guys here. We're not playing this game of like, it has to be diamond hands or paper hands and just hold it up and down and go all over. That's a whole different mentality. Those guys are trying to get rich and make money. Most of the people that are in gold and silver here are trying to retain the wealth that they've already earned. Okay. They're hoping that it might go up in value over time, and that they'll have more purchasing power than they do today, but they sure as heck don't want to have less. And that's probably the biggest difference you'll get between the crypto and the precious metal community, is you've got savers versus speculators. Okay. I wouldn't even call crypto people investors, because they're not really investing in anything. It's much more of a speculation. It's such an early industry. I would call real estate people more or less investors, even though you can be a speculator in that as well. Hopefully that helps. Okay. Let's see what else you guys have in here. We've hit the hour mark, so let's do this. I'm going to go check and see if we hit 100 thumbs up real quick. All right, we're only at 81, so we will pass on the gauze this week, guys. For Wednesday, if we get up to 100 thumbs up, we'll do some gauze. Real quick, if you're a member, put a 1 in the chat. I want to see how many of those are in here to see if we should do a live stream. If it's like a dozen of you guys, it's probably worth it. If not, what I'll do is I'll get us set up early next week for our member call. If there's just a few of us on there, it's much better to do a member call than it is to do another live stream. All right, a couple other cool things. We've got, I don't have very many of these stickers left, so, but these were for the Wooded Warrior project, so there's a couple left over. But we might make some variations of these down the road. These usually come along with the gauze. So this one kind of got messed up when I was editing it. It's supposed to be a silver surfer, basically, in a gold wave, but it got kind of muted. And then since I've got a beard, my hair's not quite this long right now. Just cut it to a degree, but we did do this variation. It's kind of fun. So I might get some more of those stickers down the road ordered. And then last thing I want to show you guys, let me see if the site's working right now. All right, the website's up. There's a few things I need my editor to still fix on the website, but I do want to show you guys that real fast. So we'll show it to you guys real quick, the website. Okay. So a couple of things I just want to point out. This is the new website. We've got some pricing up here. It's slightly different than Kitco, but we have to get an API from another company that has it out there. So you guys can come here and check your price. I got to get this picture fixed here. It's like totally cutting off StackingSurfer at the top here. So we got to work on that a little bit. But a couple things here. One, you can subscribe to the newsletter that's coming out. So we'll get our first newsletter out probably the beginning of August. Maybe we'll get it a little bit earlier. But the newsletter is going to be coming out. So if you click on that, there's a few pieces of information that you can add in here. That's going to help us, send you an email. Sitting state is really down here for you guys to list so that if I happen to be in your area, it's easy for me to send out an email and say, hey, we're going to be doing a little lunch or dinner at this location. If you want to come and join up with us, that'd be fun. But the website's set up for a few things here. I want to help you guys understand better. A lot of you, this is going to be overly simplified. So part of what we're going to be doing is reaching people that are outside of YouTube to come to the website and then hopefully direct them to YouTube to learn more. But we've got our Build Your Stack Today, 3 Reasons to Stack. Excuse me, we've got featured videos here to watch. You can subscribe to YouTube there. You've got kind of the journey of why I'm doing this. This is going to be a lot of our courses and one-on-one stuff that we're going to be doing. A lot of this is still coming. Some of this is available, like our group calls are available, one-to-one coaching is available, text hotlines available. The rest of this will be kind of teaching you guys as we do things. This is kind of where I came from, a banking family to a stacking family. We've got a couple fun quotes here from different people you guys can see. And then we've got our GSR swap calculator. This is going to come in more handy down the road. I'll show you guys on a future video how to use it. But this should be pretty fun. I'm not going to go through all of them, but we've got an about page. We've got a getting started with stacking. There's a gold and a silver page as well. So this will take you to some reasons to do it, the different kinds of investments that are out there. We're going to have, this tells you some of the coins to be looking at, the kind of margins that you should expect to pay, and when you're paying a little bit too high for it. I got to double check those numbers. You should not be at, okay, the 25% would be more like a fractional 10th ounce, but that's still pretty pricey. I'm not saying you guys should go that high, maybe 15%. So I might need to update that number. And you've got a couple of the early videos we did on Gold 101 to kind of help you guys get started. We've got trading versus stacking, and then the store will be up pretty soon. Let's see. That's not the right stuff. Well, anyway, there's this new really cool gold back. I've ordered some of these. I don't know where that picture is now. Let's see if it'll show it. It's not loading it. Well, we got some cool new gold backs that are coming out. You're not going to be able to see it right on there. Okay. I'll go back to the site here. So we got some cool stuff that's coming out. We've got a store that's coming as well. So I'm going to focus on fractional gold and silver packages you can't get anywhere else in the world except for on the StackingSurfer website. We're going to do our best to put it at a price that is as good, if not better, than most places you can get it. But it's just me and my family, okay? So we got to send these things out to you. I'm having to buy them in bulk, probably at a much higher quantity than I'd ever recommend any of you guys owning fractional at, in order to do some of this. And then we're going to have, then we also have our shipping cost and insurance and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be figuring it out, but we're going to have some really cool fractional packages. I did pick up a couple of these 3 gold back surfers, which are really cool for California. It's the only gold back that they have for those right now. So that's going to be pretty fun. And we will have other coins that are on sale on the site as well. Some of the coins I have, I'm not going to necessarily recommend you guys buy because they may be some more collectible stuff I'm looking to sell. However, when you see something you really like and it has special meaning to you, like a Death Star for someone that's a big Star Wars fan, it's okay to go buy those things that you enjoy. Just don't stack a bunch of them. And so some of the things I have, I've just decided, hey, it's not as big of a deal. I'd rather keep a Death Star. Maybe I don't need these, this set of coins that have to do with the gods of Olympus, things like that. So, but I'm a big ship coin guy. So any kind of coin that has ships on it, I like to hold on to keep those. But every once in a while, we get a handful of extras. I don't need 10 of them. So some of those will be up for sale. All right, let me look at the last questions here. Let me see how many ones we had in here real fast, too. Oh, you guys went crazy putting comments in. Let's see. Just a second here. All right, we just I think we have 4 of you guys in here. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to set up for either Monday or Tuesday for us to do a call. So real quick, if you are one of the people that put one in that's a member right now, let me know what time Pacific on Monday or Tuesday would work for you guys. I can start doing it, I think, after 3 on that day. Let me know. We'll get another phone call set up. I'd love to have you guys join us on that call. And then we are going to get a member-only stream probably going next week on Wednesday as well. I just have got to make sure that I give notification to everybody. This was kind of the last minute thing. Yeah, just another quick comment on this. We were talking about the crypto stuff a second ago. The same thing can happen to gold and silver potentially, but in a different way. So you've got to remember there's when you have something that you need to convert into another form in order to, spend the money for the most part, you've got to make sure that there's off ramps that work. And so one of the things that we have to watch out for with stackers and gold and silver is, can you offload cash? Can you offload your metals to a coin shop to get cash? If you can get cash, that's good. If you can't get cash anymore and it's just a check or it's a money wire, it's something you need to be aware of. It can make things, it can kind of change it a little bit. This is why I say have some cash reserves too, because you never know if we get into a point where the coin shops just aren't buying gold and silver for a period of time. It's not going to last forever. But you could have a period of time where they don't do it. Coinbase, they play some nasty games on here too, where you basically, even Robinhood had problems where they just don't allow you to transact. Like they freeze everything for a period of time. And they usually freeze it right when you're going to make the most amount of money. And then they kind of collapse the market down and then they open it back up again. And it's a dirty trick that happens on the back end. There should be lawsuits over all this stuff. But when you're dependent on a digital currency going into another form of money, there's no other way to go with it. At least right now with gold and silver, you could spend it, right? You can use it and spend it with people. With Bitcoin, there's very few places that take it. Yes, there's a few places that'll take gold and silver. However, there's a lot of places that'll take gold backs that are local. It might not be the places you go to, but there are places that do it. And there's a lot more people that I found that are willing to take gold and silver than there are willing to take the cryptocurrencies. You've also got the ability to change it into cash. You got the ability to take it in and turn it into pawn shops and other things like that. So you got more options with it, but you always want to have enough liquidity around that you never get in a bind where you have to do something. You want to be able to plan when you sell and when you buy. Let's see. Just looking at the last couple comments, guys. So here's a cool thing for those of you that participated. Vote for Pedro, working with him and Wounded Warrior Project. Looks like over, I forget how many years it's been, but over the last several years that they've done Wounded Warrior Project on YouTube with stackers, we've raised $672,000. On the 4th of July weekend, we raised $121,000. So that's pretty awesome. I think that's pretty cool. And then a quick thank you to Maverick Cuba, $2 super chat. I can rest easy if I get 500 ounces of silver. Yes, I think you can. I don't have the chart that I can pull up right here right now, guys, but I believe you're in the top 1% of silver in holders. I believe it's at 100 ounces of silver, puts you in the top 1%, but it might be 10. It's 10 or 100, but it doesn't take a lot of silver to be in that percentage. So, I think the goal to set for silver is really around a number that is comfortable for you to stack and one that stretches you a little bit. For the most part, you're either going to use silver to trade into gold with the GSR, or you're going to end up using silver as barter, or you're going to pass it. Silver is not the metal to be in if you're looking to buy it and then to convert it back into cash. And you're just looking to make some money quickly off of it. Personally, I wouldn't mess with that. Maybe stick to the silver miners, look at some other things that you could do that's a little bit more liquid, because silver has a much higher premium when you buy it, and it has a much higher discount when you sell it. In my opinion, you're better off getting gold if you're going to be doing quick flips and things like that with it. But I think 500 ounces is a great goal to get to. I think you'll find when you get to 500 ounces, you will end up getting 501 ounces. But once you start hit those goals, that's where I start to look at things like platinum. Is platinum a good metal to go into? Those kind of things can be really fun. All right, let's see what else you guys have in here real quick. I know what you guys are doing. You guys are just trying to stall me. Sometimes I'm silly. You're trying to stall me so that I have to do the giveaways. Where are we at now? See, we're at 90. All right, we got to end this soon because I'm going to have to give all these giveaways out, and then I got to mail them. That's the worst part of selling stuff, is the mailing it. I need to get a label printer. It just takes too long with that one. Let's see what else you guys have in here. Okay, so it depends on this question here. What I'm going to be offering on the website as far as for you guys to buy, we are going to have silver bits. So those are 3/9 fine silver, and we're going to put those with 24 karat gold. Okay, so we're going to do some packages with that. That'll be kind of fun. We'll also have silver quarters available, which will be constitutional or junk silver or 90% silver. It's up to you how you want to do that. What I like about the junk silver or constitutional silver is that it's recognizable. People have seen a quarter before. When you get into the dimes, I like the older dimes because they are different. The older quarters are usually way too worn. So I try to stay away from those. And then $50 Benjis are the best because they're different design. They still look familiar, and they're usually not nearly as worn as like Walker $50. So you guys, you want to take them? Okay. So, those are great options for barter. I think they're some of the best. People recognize it. Now, some people want the pure stuff. That's where the silver bits come in play. And then gold backs, what I like about those, yes, they have a high premium, guys. There's like 100% premium on them, but it is fractional gold. They're great for tipping. They're fun to give to grandkids and to your kids. And they don't weigh very much to give you more value in tradability. They have a network of stores, even though California doesn't have its own gold backs yet, except for this 3 collectible version that I think they're making like 8,000 of them. There are more stores in California that accept gold backs than I think anywhere else, any of the other states. So you'd be surprised at how many places it'll take them. They're also great for like go bags and other places to put them. But we're going to have all of that stuff on the site. I'm not becoming a bullion dealer. I mean, maybe we'll do a coin shop someday. Maybe we'll do a lot more down the road. But this is really more like starter packs to help get you guys started in stacking or started in fractional. And I'm really just starting with products that I can get wholesale. And hopefully we can make a little bit of money to help support the channel. Building a website like this costs, thousands of dollars to do. Yeah, you can vibe code it, but then it's not very easy to deal with it down the road. You've got a lot of changing you've got to do. And so I really have not made, any money doing this for 3.5 years. Almost all the money I make goes into the channel. I don't have the exact numbers, but I have not even covered my electric bill over the 3.5 years doing this channel. So if you guys think this is a huge moneymaker, it is not. Maybe we will make some money from it someday. Right now, this is just community service, giving back to you guys, having fun, building something I really care about, and I feel that I have a mission for. Okay, otherwise I wouldn't be putting all this time in. If we can turn it into a career and a job down the road, that'd be pretty cool too. But do go take a look at this. Sign up for the, go to the website, StackingSurfer.com. Sign up for the newsletter. We're not going to spam you guys. I'm not selling it to anybody. Look, I'm a data analytics guy. That's my profession in loyalty marketing. The data is too valuable to sell. I don't know why Mark Zuckerberg sells all the Facebook data. And if you guys are on Facebook, all your crap's getting sold all the time. And on Instagram as well. My wife can be on Instagram. I could be across the room. I mentioned gold. Next thing you know, she's got gold ads showing up, right? Things like spying on you all the time. We don't sell the data. That's not the business we're in. What I do hope to offer is some other benefits to you guys. We will have memberships that will feed in from our YouTube memberships over there, to where you guys can do one-on-one mentors, as well as hopefully better prices on things to buy. We've got a lot of merch that's coming out. I don't know if I can get my merch. Let me see if I can get the merch to work, just to show you guys some of the cool stuff that's coming up this week. Hopefully it'll be all live this week. All right, let me try something, because if I can share it, you guys, it's pretty cool. Well, I don't know. I think it's cool. Maybe no one will buy it. I think I've sold 2 stickers. I think that's the only merch I've sold so far. Maybe I just need to be a better salesperson and trying to sell my own merch. Oh, I think we can go entire screen. Let's try this. All right, give me 1 second. I close some windows here. Okay, let's see if we can make this work. I got to log on to YouTube on my phone, though. Otherwise, I won't be able to tell if it's working. All right, if you guys are joining later here, we went through all the financial stuff and kind of what's going on in the market earlier, so definitely go back and check that out. All right, we're going to try to do this real quick. All right, let me see if this is working. It'll be delayed, so it'll give me a second here. Okay, cool. So we're going to have some fun merchandise. We're going to play around with things like we've got the wraparound StackingSurfer logo with the gold, silver coins on it for a mug. I don't know. I think that's kind of fun. We may do some giveaways with some of these items too. A hat with a surfboard on it. Kind of a fun mouse pad. It's the background you see me doing today. So we'll play around with some of those. You guys can get magnets. If you're lucky, you'll also win some GA magnets. We'll probably do some more of those soon. We've got a t-shirt that's got, let's see, Silver Tsunami on it. So that's like Extreme Surfer. And it says Silver Tsunami. It is a gold wave, but it's also a silver wave and a Silver Surfer. We've got this kind of fun one that's coming up. I lost it in a boating accident. So we're going to probably do some variations on that theme for some fun merch. We've got this one that's kind of fun. It's a hoodie. It's got a gold and silver, a surfer holding gold and silver, kind of the play off the Asian yin and yang there. If you guys have got grandkids, I put this one together that I thought was kind of funny. I was born to stack. Get your grandkids stacking early. And then I'm looking for ideas on stuff too. So if you guys give me some ideas, we can have fun with that. But here's like another shirt, inflation proof with silver eagles. I've got another one here that's going to be GSR 7-to-1. So these should go live this week. And then this is the last one I've got here right now. So this is the back of the shirt, is a money tree that's losing its losing the money. And then on the front of it, you've got all these silver coins and a sturdier tree. So we're having fun with these things. So I'd love to see what you guys would come up with and what you would like to see. But that's some of the fun merch stuff that hopefully we'll have coming out for you guys. Yes, gold backs are more of a novelty item, so I wouldn't recommend stacking them in large quantities. But they can be handy for a go bag. They're easier to 10th ounce gold coins and grams are much easier to lose than a gold back is. So, you don't buy them because of the premium. You buy them because they're more functional in some uses. You can put them in between the pages of a car manual in your car to keep some extra money in there in case you have a flat tire or something. They're pretty easy to put into a wallet if you've got the right kind of wallet that will take those. You can do the same thing with the 10th ounce of gold. Just put it in a flip and make sure you don't lose it there. We'll also have 10th ounce gold for sale too. But here's the thing. You can buy gold backs in a lot smaller fraction of gold than spending, $500-$600 for a 10th ounce of gold. So that's kind of where you would do it. But it does have a higher premium. So, I wouldn't go and stack gold that way, meaning I wouldn't go and buy an ounce of gold in gold backs. You'd be paying a pretty big premium on that. Rob, yeah, email me. We'll figure out how to get you set up for that. We'll find a way to make that work. James Bond's cool. On the auction, we had a 60-year James Bond coin. I bought one of those for my dad. I think those have actually done pretty well. All right, we've got Melissa saying 5 p.m., so that's cool. 6 p.m. Okay, that gives me a good idea. So if you go to goldback.com, here, let me see if I can pull this up real quick for you guys because you should know this. Okay, there's a couple things you guys need to be aware of when it comes to gold backs. One, I am an official distributor of them. So I'll just disclose that. I'm not getting paid by them to promote this or anything. But if you go here, what you're going to notice up in the corner, guys, is this is the exchange rate, okay? As long as the gold back company is in business, you'll see the $8.22 over here, right here, where the cursor is. That's the exchange rate for gold backs, okay? That's what gold back will buy them back from merchants for, $8.22. As long as they exist as a company and they're buying back at $8.22, they are the market makers, okay? There's a market for it. It's like the silver floor that's supposed to come. If the United States government wants to put a real silver floor in, they either have to regulate it by law, meaning no one can sell it for less than this, or face a penalty, or they have to be willing to pay that price and buy up all the silver that people are willing to sell it at. $8.22 is the gold back price, okay? Now, when I started buying gold backs, they were $2.50. They've gone up to $8.22. That's a pretty good thing. They did get all the way up to about $10 at the $5,600 gold or so. They are 22 karat gold. They have cool artwork on them too. But the cooler thing, if you go to the site here, is you go over here and you can find pay with gold backs. I usually use the mobile app, so let me see if I can figure this out the best way. Oh, last thing I was going to say. So if Goldback Company goes out of business, then one of two things is going to happen. Either these are going to become highly collectible, and people will be buying them up, and they'll have a higher premium on them, or they could potentially lose that extra premium, and they'll go down to the fundamental value of gold, which is going to be about $4.10. Okay, that's what you've got there. So to me, yeah, there's a little bit of risk in it there, but you know, you can use them for things. So this is all the locations where they will take gold backs in the United States. All right, so that's a lot. So if I want to go in and put in, let's say, Newport Beach, California. I'm curious, do they have any there that will do this? I don't know. Is this going to zoom us in? I don't know if that's actually showing. Okay, so here you go. For a state that doesn't have gold backs, here's a handful of businesses you can go use them in. Here's a cleaning solutions, tile cleaning. Here's an S&J Law estate planning. Here's a auto spa. A Blue Pacific Pools. This is down close to me. Dana Point Body Center. I have no idea what that is. Tustin DSI Labs. Don't know what that is either. Automotive here. So there's a handful of businesses that are doing it. So the best way to use gold backs is like this. I've got a video, if you guys go look at it, where we did, we went to Ace Hardware, and I actually got a 6% savings by using gold backs versus US dollars because of the way the exchange rate was set up and the price I was able to buy gold backs at. So, you know, don't overpay for them. You should not be paying very much over that exchange rate for gold backs. You know, a few years ago, I'd say 2 years ago, a lot of the online bullion dealers were charging like a $2 or $3 premium on top of the exchange rate for gold backs. They're now all down to probably, you know, 20 or 30 cents, maybe 40 cents over, which isn't too bad. I mean, they need to make a little bit of money as they're doing it. Yes, they can buy them a little bit below, but you got to buy those right. I know OC Stacker picked up a lot of gold backs at the actual spot price of gold. Okay, what else do you guys have? Because now that I talk too long on one subject, I get so behind in the chat. Yeah, I like Mercury Dimes the most. Standing Liberty is really cool on the quarters, but it's really hard to find one that you get dates for. Yeah, that doesn't really, it's not, there really isn't an exit tax. People talk about that all the time though. I mean, okay, technically there's a little one like $300. And it's with the county. And it's just part of like selling a house. It's not really an exit tax. Okay, let's see what you guys have. Well, thank you. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I try to help you out as much as I can with cool stuff. Oh gosh, you guys, did you stall me again to give you a GA? Let's see. Oh, we hit 101. Gosh. All right, we're gonna do GAs in just a second here. Well, yeah, just give me a minute. I know you guys just stalling me. I know he's totally stalled me out for 3 hours. I'm gonna fall asleep here in a minute. It's been a long week. Actually, it's been a long 2 weeks. All right, let's see what else you guys have before we end here. You don't think you're getting spammed. Check your inbox on your emails, though. Just kidding. No, it's not set up like that. It's the content you get. I think Facebook, which is also Instagram, they're the best at personalizing ads to you. It's because they've got ways through the phones to kind of eavesdrop on what you're doing in your activities. Plus, it's called stitching. There's a lot of things you can do on the background. All the credit card companies share all of the information that you guys, all of your purchasing information is shared with all of these other companies for a fee. And so they stitch all of that stuff back and forth. So once they know who you are, they know all of your purchases, they know what you're buying, they show you those kind of ads on Facebook, and they show you that kind of content. Yeah, digital marketing can get pretty wild. As far as privacy, there's like no privacy, guys. Let's see what else you guys have. Inflation proof's pretty fun. I've got some other fun ones that I haven't been able to load up on there yet. So it doesn't cost me any money to create all these cool designs. So I think we're going to have a lot of cool designs that get put on there. They make the shirt when you order it, and then they'll send it to you directly. But it'll be fun. It's a fun way to support the channel. You know, make a couple bucks off of it. Every little bit helps, you know, get things going. Let's see. So for Rob, I actually made that shirt, the 7-to-1 for you. There you go. So we could get to a 7-to-1 ratio, guys. It's not going to be something that'll happen. The market, the country doesn't want that. The government, right? The bankers don't want that. All right. They're afraid they're going to make too many people rich off of it. So they're going to fight that. But statistically speaking and historically speaking, equilibrium will bring it down to that at some point. So, you know, they can only play this fiat game for so long. They've kicked the can really far. One more time with the stable coins, and I think it's going to fail and blow up in their face. But that whole thing is going to be really messy. And when that happens, I think people will lose faith in a lot of the cryptocurrencies. It doesn't mean they'll all be useless, but you know, a lot of people I think are going to try to jump over to precious metals. The question is going to be, can they find it? You know, I've heard, I think it was Jim Rickards that said only 0.5% of the U.S. population stacks. The other statistic is 10% of U.S. households have gold and silver, but I think that includes jewelry too. So, come here, buddy. If this is the favorite dog toy, is the pizza. No, he's okay. So when you look at that, if we can go from 0.5% to 1%, that's double the demand. If we go from 0.5% to 2%, that's quadruple the demand. Right? You guys see what kind of happens on if we were to get to 10% of the U.S. population is stacking, the stores will be empty. There won't be any supply in the U.S. until other countries start sending gold and silver here for us to buy. There just won't be enough of that at our current prices, right? It'll be gone. You'll be waiting 6 months to a year to order. So what happens? Supply and demand pushes price up, right? The supply will never go to zero. You'll always be able to buy gold and silver. It's just at what price? And then it may be delayed for it to get minted from the mints. All right, let's see. I'm just kind of skipping back and forth on here. No, I wouldn't back up the truck on anything quite yet, personally. I think we need to wait until we have some clear signs that we're in the next run up, and that's the time to kind of do it. The back up the truck time was below 30 for silver, and it was below 2,000 for gold. Some of you have been doing that for a long time. A lot of people missed it. You know, there'll be another back up the truck time if we go below 50. That's really when you're starting to hit the back up the truck. Now, if you don't have very much of this stuff, I would just dollar cost average into it. It's going to be your best way to do it. If you bought it $100, dollar cost average down, you'll get your price to go from 100 to 90 to 80 to 70. You know, it'll start going down if you buy more at these lower prices. So you can fix any mistake you've made for the most part, which you ought to be able to do. Let's see. Yeah, let me tell you my thoughts on platinum real quick. So I think platinum is where you have the highest potential of increase and gain, even higher than silver. The problem with platinum, though, is that it is highly dependent on the economy, even more than silver is. And so what you need to watch out with on platinum is not getting too carried away with buying too high of a percentage of your stack in it. I have less than 1% of my stack in platinum. Let's say I liquidate my house and I want to do some more investing in precious metals. I'll probably buy another big chunk in platinum, maybe get that up to like 1% of my stack. I've heard of people having 5% in it. That I think starts putting you into really an investor mindset. I think it puts you into more risk. Platinum's not really a metal that you're going to use in barter. It's not a metal. It's not a monetary metal. So it's a metal that you're going to play the games with and flip in and out of. And so the question is, do you really want physical platinum, or do you want to buy mining stocks that are in platinum? So that's the thing you've got to kind of look at. But I do have some platinum. I have one palladium coin. That's also another platinum metal. Rhodium is another one that if you know how to play futures on that, there could be a potential huge upside to it. But the downside to that is you might be waiting for it for a very, very long time. So you might miss your window. And so one of the things that I would just recommend to you guys when you're looking at the platinum metals is I would first get a solid foundation of gold. So my recommendation, and this is on the minimum, Rob's pointed this out, that it's not 20% net worth, but I would get 1 ounce of gold for every $50,000 of net worth you have. The reason for that is if they go to revalue the gold to burn off the debt, it's going to be around $50,000 an ounce. So it's just a way to kind of help offset that. If they were to do that today, we'd have so much inflation in other areas, and other assets you have would lose value, purchasing power drastically. The gold would make up for it. That's the reason for that number. You can decide to do 2 ounces, 3 ounces, 4 ounces, 5 ounces for that. Okay, that's just the minimum. Silver, I recommend at least $200 face per family member that you have for silver for bartering. I think you can get away with 100, but I think 200 is a good place to go. And then you can start to layer on top of that when you find good deals for constitutional or junk silver. I think you can get like silver bits too. That's also another good way to go. Depending on the price, sometimes silver bits are going to be a better value. Other times constitutional is going to be better. Those are really the only 2 rules of thumb I have when it comes to starting the stack off. I go heavier on gold than I do silver as a percentage because I'm trying to protect wealth more than I'm trying to grow it or speculate on it. Silver is also highly volatile. So I want to be able to have an asset that's a little bit more dependable on with gold. So a lot of times my silver is to flip and play the GSR. So as far as platinum goes, then it fits into that 1 to 5% of your stack. So, you may be 80% silver, 20% gold. So maybe you get into 1% platinum. If you've got a lot of wealth, then, forget the percentages, start looking at an actual dollar amount. Keep in mind that platinum, when the coins were made, platinum was worth twice the value of gold. So that could technically put platinum at 8,000. There's no guarantee, but it's kind of what's happened historically. And so you can play the numbers there and say, hey, maybe I'm going to buy this much platinum. Hopefully it gets up to 8,000. I can turn that and go buy real estate with it, or I can buy more gold or silver. So hopefully that helps. But thank you for the super chat as well. All right, we're almost done here real quick, and we're going to run the gauze for you guys. Let me just see if there's any other last questions. So real quick on gold back stuff, the company that makes the gold backs, they do make some other notes too. So you guys can find those, and then you've got a couple other companies that do them as well. You just need to make sure when you're buying whatever you're buying, double check and see how much actual gold's in it. Some of these gold foil notes don't tell you how much is in it. Like I've got Star Wars ones, they don't really tell you what the value of those are. But the other ones should all tell you, that are made by some company of gold back, they should all tell you 1/1000th of an ounce, 1/100th of an ounce. So do the math, about double the price of the gold that's in there is a reasonable price to pay for these things. If you're paying way more than that, I wouldn't do it. If you're paying less than that, you're getting a deal. You could probably sell them, flip them, do that stuff. But yeah, that's my plan, is to take my platinum and exchange it in for gold. You can always do this. Yep, you can always do that. There's a lot of investment strategies that are going to play in. I found a guy last night that I need to vet a little bit more, but he is a dentist and he has a YouTube channel, and it's all about helping other dentists invest and create cash flow streams. One of the things we're going to be doing, guys, as we get to higher gold and silver prices, is you guys are going to be having tax problems. You can't lose it all in a boating accident, okay? I have gotten an email from the IRS that they watch the channel, so I'm always going to tell you guys to follow the tax law. I'm going to tell you to follow the law, talk to your CPA, all of that stuff. But I know some of you are trying to be sneaky about stuff a little bit. And to be honest, depending on your interpretation of the Constitution, I don't know that, I don't know if I blame you, is what I would say. So with that said, though, we could be running into a lot of tax issues down the road. You do not get taxed when you borrow against your gold and silver and you buy things with it. You can get yourself in a lot of financial trouble doing that if you don't do it right and you buy stupid things. But if you take gold and silver and you borrow against it, you go buy real estate that creates cash flow, you improve the property, get it refinanced so that there's more value to it, do a cash out loan, pay off your gold and silver loan. Now you got your gold and silver back. You've got a piece of property. You're generating cash. There are ways to do that. And when we start to see things like $500-$600 silver, and we start to get into the $10,000 and $20,000 gold, some of you are going to be in a position where those are going to be things to talk about. So we will have people on that run those companies that can offer those kinds of products to help you. And we'll probably start to expand into some more of the real estate stuff, which I have more experience with in the past, and my family does, and other people I know, to help you understand where we take it for the next step in helping you guys kind of become more financially independent. This I agree with too. I think 20% of your net worth in physical gold and silver is key right now. Personally, I would say gold, 20% in gold. Doesn't mean you have to have it today. If you have a lot of silver right now and you're planning to play the GSR, to get to that point, that's where I think it's key. So some of you may have 20% in gold and you may have another 5 or 10% in silver. You can do that if you've got the ability to continue to cash flow everything. I wouldn't go above 20% if you're strapping yourself, but hey, if you've got extra cash coming in, you don't know what to do with it, and you want a place to put it, you might start going above 20%. I know some people have a lot higher than that. It's a percentage, so it all depends on what your net worth is, right? David Bateman, he's worth a few $1 billion, I think. He bought, about $1.2 billion in metals back when they were $30 for silver and around $3,000, I think, for gold. And that's gone up quite a bit for him. And, maybe he's higher than 20%, maybe he's at 30%, but I don't even think he's higher than that. You may have people that have a lot lower net worth, and to get to 20% is pretty easy to get there. At least dollar value wise, right? It may only take a handful of coins to hit into those numbers. So it's really a personal thing. It's for you guys to kind of figure out where you want to go with it. The key is it's real money, and it's a way to lock your value and kind of stop that inflation from taking you out any further. I don't know what that is. I don't know what you'd be buying there. You'll have to be more specific. Yeah, so gold and platinum, you're going to find the bars are a lot less expensive. You might even, like on gold, save like $50 to $100 buying the bars. I forget what the difference is on platinum. If you can buy coins for the same price, buy the coins. Otherwise, look at the bars. The bars can be fine too. When it comes to gold, I still like having the sovereign coins in the country. So I would still recommend having gold buffaloes and eagles before you have a bunch of bars. However, it's all relative, right? You can buy a lot of the stuff at Costco.com, save 4% with the credit card, as well as the executive membership. And they mostly sell bars. There's not a lot of coins that they sell on that. And I still think that's a great way to go. So yeah, that can be good too. Okay, I'm looking for the last question here. All right, this is where we'll end it. And we're going to go ahead and run. Oh, here we go for sterling silver bars. Oh, 925. Yeah. Okay. So I don't recommend buying anything. I don't recommend buying sterling silver unless you have a place you can go and turn it in to get refined. A lot of refineries are not refining today. The dog's self-playing over here with his squeaking toy. I don't think you guys can hear it though. So, sterling, I wouldn't go crazy buying sterling unless you know smelters or melters that you can go to. If you know those people and you find out exactly what they'll do with it, then that's fine. You can go flip that. Now, if you want to have some cool sterling silver to use personally, that's another thing. But I think just about every coin store in America is chock full of sterling silver that they've never taken to get melted yet. They don't know what to do with it. It's just sitting there. So I'd be a little careful with that one. And then the last thing I'll kind of do here is this comment here. Oh, that's the wrong one. It moved on me. All right, from Rob. Live below your means till silver skyrockets. Well, you'll still be living below your means. Your means will just be higher. All right, let's do this real quick. I'm going to pull up our giveaway tool. All right, so you guys put this into the chat. Start throwing that in like crazy right now. That'll start loading up. And I'll get the page ready so you guys can see. We got 75 of you in here, so let's see if we can get like 30 or 40 of you guys to enter in here, and then we'll run it. And it's only 8:30, and I feel like I need to go to bed. All right, there we go. We got 15 so far. All right, let's see if you guys had anything else while we're loading that up. The best way to buy gold is at melt, unless you can buy it below melt. I've actually bought a lot of gold below melt, but you have to wait for the opportunity to come and present itself, which means you don't get to choose what the melt price is. So you've always got to look at it and see if it's still a good opportunity to do it or not. And then you're getting whatever they have, and you do what you can. But what I would say to that is look for the deals. There's deals all the time, guys, that are out there. Every major bullion dealer has their sell pricing. That's the first place I start. Shop around, look at what they're offering, and you don't need to overpay for any of this stuff. Also, do know that these shops have got to make their spreads, or at least they want to make their spreads, and so be careful. Shop around when you're selling as well. A lot of places right now are paying $10 below spot for silver. that's low. Like I don't think I could part with my silver for that. I think the worst I've ever had to do something like that on is maybe 2% below. I just have a hard time doing that. My dog's gonna growl at me over here.
Just drop it. I'll take him out.
Okay, we hit 34, so we're gonna go ahead and spin this right now. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do 2 of these. These are gonna be for 2 of these. These are these are half gold backs, Arizona. Okay. We are going to be getting in some Florida and Arizona quarters. So we'll be doing some more of those. And then I think I've got some, or maybe it's Idaho. I don't know. Some of the new states that are coming out for the gold backs. But they're cool designs. They're going to be fun. You guys will be able to buy some of them on the website probably towards the end of next week. Hopefully we'll get the merchandise set up for this week. We'll probably run some fun competitions, I think, for people that buy some of the shirts. I don't know. I got to play around with the social media thing a little bit. It might be, a picture of of you wearing the shirt. You can cut your head off if you don't want to show it on social media. But we may do some competitions like that for some silver ounces, which would be fun. Okay, here we go, guys. Wait a second. It's not showing. There we go. That's what you guys want to see. All right, we got 37. So we're going to go 3, 2. Hurry and get that in there, guys. We're going to spin this twice. All right, congratulations, go boys PQ Griffin. Okay, I don't know how to read that exactly, but congratulations. So send me an email, StackingSurfer@gmail.com. And actually, I'm going to have you still send it there. We've got a new email address for Gauze, but I think we'll do that the next time. I need to test it first. StackingSurfer@gmail.com. Take a screenshot of this so I can see your handle, and then give me your mailing address, including the name you want me to send it under, and we'll get those out next week to you. We'll get you a half gold back out next week. We're going to run this one more time for one more person. All right, let me hit that again real quick. All right, here we go. Who's it going to be? TCH 1280. Congratulations. So same thing. Go ahead and send that. I need to get those in by. If you guys can send it tonight, would really help. I can make them up tomorrow. Otherwise, it'll probably be close to next weekend by the time I get to get those out. So congratulations. I'm planning right now to do the next live stream on Wednesday at 3 o'clock Pacific. And then we'll be looking to do either Monday or Tuesday. I just need to check my schedule for a members only call. That'll be our last one for everybody. And then the calls are going to start going to the higher membership levels. You can see the difference on there. So we'll kind of address that. Check out the website. Look for the merch later this week. I'd love to hear from you guys. Right now, feel free to email me any suggestions for the website. What you would like to see. If you've got some ideas on merch, we'll probably do another competition for designs for shirts as well. We're going to do some fun stuff with it. Okay. So a lot of this is about community. And I want to thank you guys for coming out, and stay safe, keep on stacking, and I'll keep you apprised of any crazy new stuff that I see coming out too. Talk to you guys soon. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.